Hello everyone, my name is Giselle Williams. I am currently in fourth form. Some behaviors that students tend to have in my school are mainly disrespecting the teacher in regards to disobedience and rudeness, being late to school and leaving periods early, and also disregard to deadlines for assignments and homeworks. The responses to teachers for these behaviors are to punish the student, either remove him or her from their class, or to talk to them in private about their behavior. In terms of the authority, if the matter is more major and serious, the welfare officers will be called in to solve or help with the problem. Thank you for your time.
Okay, well, we have a special guest with us today, and he is going to introduce himself to us. So, can you kindly tell us your name?
My name is Marvin J. Ventura.
Very good, thank you. So, Marvin, what is one common behavior of students in your school?
They don't obey. Every time the teacher talks and they say, sit down when you sit down, they stand up, walk out, and leave class.
What does the teacher do when they get up and walk out the class?
The teachers tell them go to HM, or if they don't want to go to the HM, they just tell them, Mrs. Put to lash on them and tell them, stay, you can't go outside for lunchtime.
All right.
Hello everyone, I am Janelle. I am a fifth form student. Three common behaviors of students at my school are: 1. Excessive talking in the classroom with the absence of a teacher. In order to help control the situation, the teachers would usually appoint a class representative or monitress who will supervise the classroom activity in the absence of a teacher to help control the noise level. Secondly, students arrive late for school past the commencement time, and the system in place to deal with this, the teachers have appointed prefects from higher level in the schools, and these prefects usually take the names of those who come to school late in a late book, and after 3 occurrences of lateness, students will be sentenced to detention. And this is one method of controlling or curbing this kind of behavior, lateness. Thirdly, students sometimes fail to be properly attired in school uniform. This includes having painted nails painted with nail polish, or wearing elaborate hairstyles, both on the male and female students. And also, in order to remedy this, the teachers will usually have impromptu inspections, and the students who are found not properly attired for school will usually be sent to detention or have to correct this said infraction within a certain time. Thank you.
I am not one of the persons that is all for the social control, since I strongly believe that it tends to limit the students' ability to express themselves. However, I also believe that too much freedom is not going to be a good thing. So allowing students to operate willy-nilly is never going to be something good for society. Now, that said, it means there must be some amount of social control exerted. And one of the old ways that was used, currently, or I should say slightly being phased out to some extent, is the way of corporal punishment. Now, I am a strong believer in this, and I think that if administered correctly, can, as we would say, bring back society to what it used to be. Because students nowadays do not have they don't feel, let's say, threatened, or there's nothing to deter them from behaving in a certain type of manner. And so if it is that they know that there will be sanctions to some extent, then they would change the type of behavior that they're doing. Now, we understand that some persons would have misused their powers, and so with respect to the corporal punishment in times past. But as I'm mentioning, if administered correctly, should be able to do the job of socially controlling our students to some extent, but not to the extent of blocking them from expressing themselves too much.
What can be done in schools to maintain social control? Now we can use formal sanctions such as punishments and rewards. Now punishments will be for those who are not adhering to the rules of the schools, the rules of the class, etc. Rewards will be for those students who are performing academically and also who are following the rules of the schools. Also, the school as well as the class should set high standards, high rules for students to follow, so that social control will be maintained.
As a parent, what I would like to see done in school to maintain social control is to have rules as it regards to students' behavior and ensure that these rules are implemented and suitable punishments are in place when these rules are broken. Also, enlighten students as to the importance of having a good self-esteem through character building by respecting fellow students and those in authority. In this way, social control can be maintained in school, and we will have a better, more conducive environment for learning to take place.
Good day, everyone. Trust you're keeping well. My name is Koya Hali, and I am a registered social worker and also former classroom teacher. I was tasked with the responsibility of sharing a little bit on the causes of deviant behavior in children and what can be done at the school to help curb this behavior and outside of the school. What support is available outside of the school environment. Before I go any further, I would just like to remind us about the term deviant behavior. Now, when we talk about deviant behavior, we are referring to any behavior that goes against societal norms or practices. Now, if we're talking about within the school environment, we're talking about behaviors that goes against the rules of the school, the regulation of the school, and this can be displayed through aggression, that is children fighting, breaking furniture, shouting, picking on each other, and sometimes there is no justifiable explanations for such practices. Now, so if we're going to think about the causes, why do students or children behave in this manner? The causes are many, and I cannot exhaust them today. But I would just like to mention what I think are some of the important causes for us to examine. And it is important for us to look at the family environment in which that child was socialized or brought up. Now, the physical environment is very crucial, and during my years as a teacher, I have seen how dysfunctionality within families have affected the students' holistic well-being, mentally, socially, physically, and so for that reason, I think it's important for us to look at the students' upbringing when we're talking or addressing deviant behavior. Attachment is also important. Broken family, broken relationships. Some students do not know what it means to be loved by a caregiver or a parent. something we might want to think of as maternal deprivation. So this is an important link, I think, to the causes of deviant behavior in children. I have recognized that students just need somebody to believe in them. However rough, or despite the cursing out or the fighting, sometimes students just want somebody to believe and to show them love. Also, we have to think about the lack of the students' basic needs being met. That can also contribute to students behaving in a particular manner. And we want to talk about food, clothing, and shelter, those sort of needs also. We will also want to think about what exists within the community for students to engage meaningfully, because socialization play a key role. And also in this era, we're talking about technology, social media. What are our children looking at? The social learning theory tells us about modeling. What types of behavior are they modeling? So these are some of the causes, I think, that are responsible for children behaving in a deviantly or in a way that contravenes the norms of the society or the school environment. Also, we would want to think about mentally. Sometimes I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor, but there are some links to genetics and behavior that I think could be explored by the professionals. Now, thinking about what can be done within the schools to help, I think we need to understand the why. And in understanding the why, I think professionals are needed within the school. We're talking about school psychologists and school social workers, because teachers cannot do it alone. All right? And besides that, I think more love. Yes, love covers a multitude of sin, as the good book says. And I believe that, and I've seen it, when we demonstrate love to students, it breaks them down, the barriers, because some students have barriers that they have to shield themselves, and these barriers can only be penetrated through love and understanding, us trying to understand the why students behave the way they do. So while we need the professionals to help us, we can also capitalize on teachers, by teachers being a little bit more patient and demonstrating love to our students. I believe that schools also need counseling, appointed counselors, like I said, or guidance rooms for students where they can go and have that psychological and emotional support that they need. And sometimes it's physical needs too that students need to be met in order to impact positively on behavior. So I think those are things that students can look into, or teachers or professionals can look into. What can be done outside of the school? What support can be given within the community? I think community groups, religious organizations can get on board. It does not have to be from a religious perspective, but morality. Help to educate and strengthen students to be the best version of themselves. Also, community activities, or what do students have access to community centers where they can be engaged in extracurricular activity, especially if they're trying to escape something negative within their own home environment? If this is not the case, I believe that this is something that can be looked into. So where I'm going is that it takes involvement of all levels or sectors within the society for us to truly help students manage those behaviors or curb those behaviors. And as adults, we have got to set that example. So I believe that an holistic approach is important to address deviant behavior among student groups or children. Thank you.